What was the best "do you know who I am" moment you've witnessed? I was working the overnight shift at a 24-hour diner near downtown, the kind of place with sticky menus and bottomless coffee that attracts an interesting mix at 3 a.m. Drunk college kids, truckers, night shift workers, and occasionally, the wealthy stumbling in from nearby clubs. That particular night, a group of 6 burst through the door laughing too loudly. Designer clothes, expensive watches, reeking of top-shelf liquor and entitlement. They crammed into our largest booth and immediately began snapping their fingers for service. Their ringleader was a man in his 30s, with carefully disheveled hair and a blazer that probably cost more than my monthly rent. When I approached with menus, he didn't even look up. 4 mimosas, 2 Bloody Marys, and whatever your kitchen can manage that won't give us food poisoning. His friend snickered as if he'd said something brilliant. I smiled tightly. Kitchen's closing in 15 minutes. I'll need actual orders. The man finally looked at me, eyes narrowing. Do you know who I am? Before I could answer, his girlfriend stage whispered, Babe, she obviously doesn't. That's why she's serving us instead of us serving her. More laughter. I felt my face burning, but kept my expression neutral. I'd dealt with worse. In the booth directly behind them sat an older woman in scrubs. She'd been there for an hour, nursing a cup of tea, looking exhausted. I'd noticed her hospital badge. Neurosurgery department. As the entitled man continued his "Do you know who I am" speech, detailing his family connections and social media following, the woman in scrubs stood up. She was small, maybe 5 feet tall, with silver-streaked hair pulled back in a practical bun. She turned to their table and spoke in a quiet voice that somehow commanded the entire diner's attention. I'm Dr. Elaine Chen. 6 hours ago, I removed a malignant tumor from a 9-year-old girl's brain, a procedure that took 11 hours of perfect concentration. Before that, I helped a stroke victim regain the ability to speak. I've held a human brain in my hands and saved lives that were seconds from ending. The table fell silent. Nobody here knows who you are, she continued, because you haven't done anything worth knowing. But someday you might be unconscious on my operating table, and I'll work just as hard to save you as I would anyone else. That's who I am. She placed a 20 under her teacup, gave me a nod, and walked out. The ringleader's face flushed deep red. He opened his mouth, closed it, then opened it again. His girlfriend tugged his sleeve. Let's just go. They shuffled out without ordering, leaving behind their loud voices and cheap cologne. Another customer from across the diner approached the register. Their bill, he said, handing me a 50. Consider it payment for the show. As I was clearing their abandoned table, I found a business card tucked under a napkin. It belonged to the loud man, some kind of luxury real estate agent. 2 weeks later, Dr. Chen returned during my shift. I brought her tea without being asked. That man's been calling the hospital, she said, trying to make a donation to the children's wing, anonymously. She smiled slightly. Some people just need a mirror held up to see themselves clearly. I've witnessed celebrities throw tantrums and politicians demand special treatment, but nothing compares to watching quiet, competent silence hollow importance.